Yep. Well, basically, Nigel Farage is, he's a former stockbroker himself in the city. He's,
He's a gambler, you mean?
Effectively like a casino banker, basically, yeah. So a casino gambler, so, basically speculates and things like that in the city, and obviously we don't want someone like that supposedly representing working class people, and a lot of people are obviously following that because this UKIP is seen as a vehicle against the establishment, even though obviously they're as much as the establishment as the main three parties are. So we need a party which is independent and separate, which is why Tusk is Tusk is formed to actually represent working class people. I mean, if you look at what UKIP's policies represent, they represent charging for GP appointments in the NHS, charging for the basically encroachment into the NHS through privatisation, so increased privatisation in the NHS, and also they would cut down the benefits further. They would attack immigrants more. They would try and divide us as well. They would basically divide us on the lines of race and not on a class line, which is obviously completely wrong.
Is it good to have foreigners here? Because if you have a foreigner here, the first thing they will do, they eat. And by that eating, they're actually paying VAT, 20%, consuming.
Yeah.
To have them in a way is good, is it? That's the reason the governments want them, more consumers.
Yeah, that's right. You make a good point. You make a good point. Basically, what it is notably the EU, they move labour across borders in order to undercut the wages, in order to exploit them. And obviously, and to some extent, maybe even consumerism as well. But the main reason is to basically, make as much profit as possible. So to drive down the wages, to absolutely restrict their ability to actually have a decent life in this country, basically, which we think.
And also, the population is getting aged, and here, if they don't, of course, they're deserving that. If they don't work, but anyway, they're not producing any wealth. So other people who can work and younger and able-bodied, they should come here and actually work to support the next the previous generations.
I mean,
for the long life that we hope that all of them will have.
If you look at the the sort of a demographic of the amount of people who are actually working in this country, who are immigrants, actually, if you look at the demographic of people who are immigrants in this country, the majority of those are working people. And I think what is wrong in this country is Nigel Farage and UKIP. They want to introduce a thing where immigrants can only claim benefits after 2 years, which we think is completely ridiculous. Because
I'm an immigrant. I never got a penny out of anything.
Yeah, exactly.
I have pride. I want to work.
Exactly, and people, these people, big sections of the Polish community and other communities, they work very hard, and they're going to have their benefits taken away, which we think is completely wrong. Yeah, exactly. Well, we think it's completely wrong.
Every work I had, the first thing they took out of my money was tax.
Was tax?
I'm funding a lot of people. Yeah. I'm happy about that. I'm proud about that.
I mean, that's it. I mean, we encourage people.
This goes to the common good, NHS, everybody is entitled to it.
We would say that the majority of the wealth should really come from those multinational corporations. So the big corporations such as the energy companies, the supermarkets, basically the telecommunications companies, all those sort of things. That actually really produce the wealth in this country. The workers, produce the wealth. It's just the companies that take the wealth, extract the wealth from those people. But we should renationalise and take the wealth of those companies and reinvest it in society.
Well, of course, we need innovation. We need innovative minds. We need capital for that. All these things cannot come just by the working class. But it's a good idea to actually let the also working class have a say in that and work toward the benefit of everybody. Working class people, the first thing they do is pay tax.
Yeah.
We pay tax. Everybody should pay tax. That's the first thing that everybody must be feeling responsible.
I disagree with that because, see, what's happening with this, all the other political parties, they are not allowing people to have free education and stuff like that. There is no investment in research and development. There is no investment in clean energy and things like that. So the area where you have research and innovation, like the education or they say energy and things like that, it's totally been ignored by the big parties.
I know that. I worked in a company which had a very novel idea of making carbon negative cement. Because lack of investment, we have to sell it to them. Every day we were producing patents, inventions, registered inventions. But we had to sell it to Australians because there was not enough investment here to continue the work.
Don't forget all these big companies are being funded, all these big political parties are being funded by big companies, big corporate companies. So they have a say in the policy making of these big parties, of these big political parties. So That's where everything comes down to. Who this Labour Tories are standing up for, who this UKIP is representing. They represent the rich and elite of this society. I just allow Richard to continue.
Yep, sure. So I'll just put that in. But yeah, so what do you want to ask me next, just out of interest?
Thank you very much for your time.
No
and I
problem.
want you to repeat the name of the party that you represent
Yeah,
in the election, where you're standing for also.
I'm representing the Trade Unionist and Socialist Coalition in one in Hatfield.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
And complete name?
Richard James Shattock.
That's great. Thank you. All the
much.
best to you and your
Thank you, that's brilliant. Thank you.
party.